Last time on I Love Kim Possible a Lot meets the Wolf Doctor. And now the conclusion.
Hey, Doc. Long time no see, am I right?
Yes, KP. I hadn't been expecting to see you again quite this soon. Is there something troubling you?
Nothing too troubling, just nerves mostly. Got a big date with Destiny at the end of May and nervous about, well, things going wrong.
You mean attending Everfree Northwest?
Well, more than that. It's more than just a convention at this point. One Mr. Delancey will be there, and so far the convention has at least promised me a private interview. I guess I'm worried about meeting a dude that I've admired from afar, and what makes it worse is that I'm pretty sure he hasn't seen the video. He's pretty in for it at the convention. Now, I guess I'm worried about screwing things up. I have so much built on this, both on my YouTube and emotionally, and I know just one bad move can screw it up. What if he doesn't even like me? What if he thinks I'm too out there or crazy? What if we just have the interview and that's it? This has been 2 years of my life based on one weekend. I feel like I'm walking on tightrope.
I see. I'm sure that you've been looking forward to this opportunity for years, perhaps even believing that it could never really happen. You are most fortunate to have garnered quite a reputation in the Brony community that even the staff at Everfree are willing to set up a private interview with one of your idols. I can only imagine just how many other fans would love to be in your shoes when that time comes. But then again, you have put in quite a lot of research on Mr. Delancey. Your video discussing his career actually includes a story about how friendly and positive he can be even in the most embarrassing of circumstances during a convention. I'm sure that neither of us could really determine what's going to happen at Everfree, but I know that you've been building towards this goal and that you will more than likely treasure this opportunity no matter what happens. May I ask what you hope is going to happen most?
Oh, that's easy. I'm hoping the interview goes well. I think I like chatting with someone who's done their homework and not asking the same Star Trek questions that he's heard a million times. Confirmation that he's seen and appreciated the video, and maybe a possibility to touch paths every odd convention or so, as more have been asking for both of us lately. Of course, I have unrealistic hopes, but those seem to be the most grounded ideas.
Well then, I suppose that begs the question. I know that neither you nor I have anywhere near the number of fans that Mr. Delancey has accumulated over the years, but we still have watchers who have seen all of our videos multiple times, learned every fact there is to learn about our characters and even our real-life selves, and are begging for the chance to meet us in person someday. Let's say for a moment that someone has done all their homework, knows just the right kind of questions to ask you in an interview, and has even put a ton of effort into a fan project that's all about the work you've accomplished. How would you feel interacting with such a fan, KP?
I'm sure you're in the same boat of not interacting with every fan that writes a comment or sends a message. But as long as someone is professional with both their approach and research, I'm more inclined to give them a line or a podcast interview or whatever. When someone makes a nice note to make sure that their grammar is all in check, then that naturally comes off better than, "Hey KP, you wanna do collab?" Here, I'll give you an example. A little while ago, I was contacted by Finn the Pony, who is a certified fanboy who considers me his favorite Brony analyst. Because I know he's sincere and well-spoken, I'm more willing to give him a line or work with him, and because I understand his struggle, being in similar shoes. I guess John is different because he's probably seen everything in the book at this point, and I'm not sure how to make one interview out of hundreds pique his attention to keep being associated with me. I just hope he shares my philosophy.
I don't suppose you've done any research on just who John's idols have been throughout his life, the people he looked up to, respected and admired. I realize that we may see a celebrity and feel unworthy of being in their presence whenever we think about all they've accomplished, and we should be respectful and considerate whenever we do have a chance to interact with them. But if you're ever feeling overwhelmed, worrying about whether something could go wrong with this unique opportunity that's laid in front of you, I want you to remember that everyone has their idols. At some point, somewhere, each of us looks up to someone else. And perhaps if you're asking those very questions during your interview with Mr. Delancey, it could help a great deal with your own hesitations. Do you think that might make a positive difference here, KP?
That's actually something I didn't consider. I think that will help, thanks. I guess I'm also just frustrated that getting Senpai to notice me took as long as it did. When I was in production of the John video, I felt like it was going to take a few days to get a response, a month at most. Now look at me, a year later and I'll just have a 10-minute interview. I mean, I guess I should be happy I got that, and I am, but I don't know. John seems like the type that would go out of his way when someone offered him that level of kindness. For example, when he received that Discord statue that you see in the Brony documentary, he tells that he tried for hours to get a hold of the makers to thank them. I feel like I've gone above and beyond that, and nothing. I can only think of two things. He's very sheltered and doesn't know of the video's existence, then his first pony convention in a while should be quite a surprise. Or he didn't like it, thought it was creepy, and didn't want to associate himself with me. This is also adding to my nerves.
Well, I don't suppose I could really give a clear answer for that. I can't know what Mr. Delancey has and hasn't seen of your work, nor can I know what he'll think of it if and when that time comes. But I do know just how much heart and passion you put into that project all those months ago, and I'm sure that you were very pleased with the result. I realize that a lot of what you were hoping for with that project was that Mr. Delancey would enjoy the result, but I don't believe that was the only reason. Even without John's direct approval, you still accomplished something grand, something that I bet you didn't even think you were capable of at one point. There are many, many fans out there who will never get the chance to meet with their idol face to face. But even in such circumstances, I hope that each of us can remember that our idols can have a wonderfully positive influence on our lives. And we should be thankful that we have improved upon ourselves and thus become better people because of that influence, whether or not our idols ever know about that fact directly. I know that you are wishing for even more than that, KP, just like so many others out there. I only ask that you keep that good influence in mind even if circumstances don't turn out as good as you'd hope. Do you think you can do that, Miss Possible?
I suppose so. I just always felt like I needed his validation on the project. I made it for him. It wasn't like he was an indirect influence like how artists inspire each other, and especially with some of the bad press. I felt like the only way I was going to be proud of this project if he sat me down and told me how much he appreciated it. That's all I want. But over time I learned to be proud of the accomplishment in its own right. Mixed feelings and all. I just hope everything comes together at Everfree.
I wish you best of luck with that, KP. I know that I'm looking forward to Everfree, and I'm sure that many of our watchers are hoping to meet the show staff there as well. Let us do our utmost to make the best of what we have.
Fair enough. Until next time, I'll keep you posted whether I survive this ordeal in one piece or not.
Glad to be of service. Take care. It's good to be helping.